All right, I know I just made a video about the Fan Showdown, but after the crazy shakeup to the standings with our new testing methodology, it got me curious to know, what does an actual static pressure optimized fan look like? Because in my head, do I not have one? This is what it looks like. Wrong. But after testing all those fans in episode 1, I mean, I guess it's really not. That, and I noticed an influx of new Fan Showdown submissions, with many excited to take on this new design challenge, trying to create a fan that's static pressure optimized. Like, the only concern in our new designs is making a fan that performs well in the static pressure, testing to get a high rank on the board. With an asterisk, but we'll go over that in just a minute. Now, that being said, if you have submitted a design in the past and you never got to see it on the Fan Showdown, I would urge you to go resubmit your design to pop it to the top of the list, especially if you still watch the series. Or if you don't think that your design was optimized for static pressure, maybe you made it back when we were doing airflow only, you can go ahead and tweak it and then also resubmit it. All right, I think that's enough rambling. Let's take a look at the 4 noob submissions for Fan Showdown, Season 6, Episode 2. Today's video is sponsored by World of Warships. World of Warships is a free-to-play naval warfare themed PC game with a constant influx of new content released every month. And sometimes that new content is kind of crazy, like the Godzilla vs. Kong or even Transformers. Now you're probably like, yeah, that's cool and all, but I don't play PC games. To that I would say, I'm sorry to hear that, but World of Warships is now available on console. So now you can sail the high seas from the comfort of your couch, commanding a massive carriers or sneaking below the sea in a submarine, just waiting to ruin that battleship's day because he has no idea you're there. Yeah, I'm a carrier in submarine. Fight me. In World of Warships, that is. And by downloading in the link in the description below. Oh, and don't forget to use the promo code BRAVO to get a huge starter pack of 500 doubloons, 1.5 million credits, 7 days premium account access time, and a ship. So thank you to World of Warships for sponsoring this video. I'm going back to the carrier. First up, we have the classic big boy design. This is the Diaforce, and it was created by Q, Triple Q. The inspiration for this fan is the EBM PAPS Diaforce fan. Originally, the Diaforce fan, like the OG, was designed to perform in data centers or server racks. It's a high performance fan for max cooling. Sound is not really concerned. You got a bunch of servers and you want to keep them cool. And according to them, the fan does this by having the advantage of the airflow of an actual flow fan and the back pressure of a centrifugal fan, all in one package. They say this is done with a unique impeller design, along with a unique housing design that gives this fan the best of both worlds. Now, in a cutout, like a cutaway view that I found, it does look like they have created like some type of axial type fan that looks like it took some aspects from a centrifugal fan. Either way, it's really interesting. That being said, based on what we've seen over the years doing this series, I don't think this is gonna do that well. Now, I could be wrong. There could be aspects to this new static pressure type testing that I don't realize this fan might have a significant advantage for, but I know we've seen, crazy tall fans like this in the past, and they've always fell short of performing really well. So we'll have to see how that one works out. Q did say they didn't expect, much to come of this design. It was kind of hastily thrown together. He knows that it weighs quite a bit. The blades were not optimized. He just kind of designed what he thought looked good, and that's what we got. Now, because this is the first episode where we have new submissions, I'm gonna give you my first impressions. Like when I first opened up the models or they first came off the printer, what I initially thought that these fans would do in the series before I tested any of them. And this one, like I said, I don't think it'll do that good, but I'm interested to see how it turns out. Next up, we have Alien and his fan, EW Project. The EW Project is a multi-part assembly fan, and I will say my initial thoughts again when seeing this fan is this is gonna be it. This is gonna be the top one for today's episode, maybe overall in the fans we've tested in the last couple. The fan is comprised of 3 pieces: a stator section that mounts into the A12X25 frame. The fan disc then seats over top of that, and then over top of everything is a small intake housing, and then you just screw it down into the fan frame and you got yourself a completed fan. In my head, this is what a high static pressure fan looks like. It reminds me of an axial flow compressor, and if we know anything, it's that compressors are, good at making pressures, so this should work. Will it? I mean, Alien didn't give much information or any information. He just kind of sent the fan model, the name of it, and his name, and that was it. The rest was open to interpretation. It did print very well, and it was very well designed. Like when it came off the printer and I put it all together, the clearances were were top notch. It didn't nothing rubbed. It was very tight. It was beautiful. The third fan of the day is the Alterlite, which was sent in by Alex from the YouTube channel Suds Review. Alex actually resubmitted this fan design. Originally, he sent this fan in 3 years ago, which is nuts just in and of itself that this series has been going on at least 3 years at this point. But after seeing season 6 come out, he decided why not resubmit it to get to the top of the line. And well, here we go today. 3 years in the making, and we're finally gonna test the Alterlite. Now, Alex said the main goal for this fan was not really to create something exceptionally high performing. He just wanted to make a fan designed from the ground up to be 3D printed, meaning that he wanted it to be easy to print, and he wanted all of the thicknesses of all the walls to be designed around being printed on a printer with a 0.4mm nozzle. The fan itself is, you know, really super light, hence the name, and all the walls are 0.8mm thick, meaning that everything is comprised of just 2 walls. Now, in the areas that needed a little bit extra support, like maybe this ring around the outside, it is 1.2mm, so it's 3 walls thick. But either way, there's really no infill or gap fill on any of this fan. It's all just walls, making it pretty unique and elegantly simple. Now, my guess when seeing this fan as it came off the printer was, well, I think it'll be kind of middle of the road. I think this design is much more advantageous to airflow testing, but you know, static pressure, I'm thinking it's gonna be mid-grade, mid-level goodness, but we'll see. Last up, we have Mikhail and his fan, Generic 7. Mikhail said that he knows that this fan is very basic. It's kind of just a basic fan, but there is one trick that he's trying to take advantage of. This is because the hub and the blades print separately, and once complete, the blades slide into a nice little dovetail groove that he left in the hub there, and they fit real snugly. There's actually no glue or anything holding this fan together. It is all simply an interference fit, a very snug interference fit, but once they're together, I mean, they're in there. The reason Mikhail did this is so that when the blades printed, the layer lines would follow like the chord line of the airfoil, and his hope is that this will make the blades more aerodynamic and hopefully give him more performance than you would get if you just simply printed this fan right on the plate. And again, because I told you my first initial thoughts on all these other fans, I again thought this would kind of be mid-level. It would probably do okay in airflow testing, but I thought it would, in the static pressure, it would be middle of the road. Maybe slightly behind the Ultralight, because this is just really light and I assumed it would maybe spin faster. I don't know, I just kind of thought this would probably be last place in today's lineup. Actually, this would be last place, but this would be middle of the road behind this guy. But before we get into how they all performed, let's take a listen in the sound test. And I think the sound output of all these fans is gonna play a much larger role in this season than it ever has in past seasons, and that's mostly because the way we're measuring these fans is static pressure, millimeters of H2O, but I'm only able to measure them within 0.1 decimal point, so like 3.4, 2.5, and that's kind of a limitation of the manometer I have. So that being said, if we have a fan that finishes like, I don't know, 1.6, and this one also finishes 1.6, the one that does so the quietest is obviously gonna win, and I think that'd be a good tiebreaker. Let me know what you think in the description below, but for me, the tiebreaker will be if the fans finish the same in the static pressure testing, whatever one is quieter will get the edge. Oh, and if you're curious to know how I measure the sound test, I kind of just have a microphone that I place 100 millimeters away from the face of the fan. I kind of just always done it that way. 100 millimeters, don't know how I had landed on that, but since I do it that way, I keep it all the same. The diaforce came in around 49.7 dBA. The EW Project came in around 54.2 dBA. The Ultralight came in around 51.8 dBA. And the Generic 7 came in around 48.1. So right now the Generic 7 is ahead of the game. It's the quietest fan, it's kind of in the lead, but the smoke test is where it's also going to get interesting in this new season, because in seasons past, whatever fan kind of looked the best on the airflow or on the smoke test kind of tended to perform the best, and I'm really curious to know if that will translate into season 6, or is there some other pattern that we need to look for to figure out which fan is going to be the best static pressure fan? I don't know. The generic 7 came in at 2.7 millimeters of H2O. The Alterlite came in at 2.2. The EW Project came in at 2.4. And the Diaforce came in at 3.4. Yeah, you heard that right. This giant monstrosity of a fan came in at 3.4 millimeters of H2O, which puts it miles ahead of every other fan we tested here today. So the fan that I thought initially would do the worst is actually... it's the best. What? So in this group, the Diaforce came in first place, the generic 7 second, the EW Project third, and the Alterlite fourth. And overall, they finished first, sixth, eighth, and ninth. Yeah, this is actually first place overall. Not only did it do amazing today, it's so far done the best. Yes, we've only tested like 9 fans at this point, but something like this would never have a chance of being like mid to top part of the leaderboard, let alone like top 5 in the past. So it's just nuts. And what does that mean for future designs? There's people out there right now watching this going, oh boy, I can probably do that. I'd be curious to know if this surprises you as much as it does me, or if you kind of expected this. Let me know in the comment section down below. Because I thought something like this that looks like a little actual compressor would do the best, but clearly I'm wrong. So if you want to send in your designs to be on the Fan Showdown, make sure to go down into the description below where you'll find my link to my Thingiverse account, where you can find information on critical dimensions you need to hit and to make sure your fan fits inside of the A12X25 frame. There's also models that you can download on there to use as templates, but once you have your finished design, send me at least a .stl or .stp, a step model, to thefanshowdown@gmail.com, and we'll see you in the next episode. And based on what happened today, I don't know what we're gonna see. Things are about to get a little nutty. Oh, and if you stumbled onto this video just randomly, why not get subscribed? I'll see you next time.